I'm actually going on a trip. Oh, I can hardly see you. This talk is supposed to be about relationship, as if I'm here all by myself. You know, we're called to the things we study because of our desperation often, because of our inability to understand a phenomenon that is causing us pain. And that would be me. I was married early, thought I was married a wonderful man. But a few years into that marriage, I realized that I wasn't happy. And I've been brought up in a culture that said, if you're unhappy, you must be with the wrong person. You know, he's the problem. Dump the bum, find somebody better. Of course, I did that. I did what my culture told me. And a few years went by and I felt, you know, I was single and had a great time. And then I really got in touch with the longing to be in connection. The longing that all human beings have, our very basic desire to love and be loved. So I got into a new relationship. This time, I got into a relationship with a woman. So I changed relationships. Not only that, I changed genders. And I realized something very disturbing about 3 years into that relationship. Some of the same conflicts that I'd had with him, I was having with her. And I realized I was the common denominator. So which is very embarrassing when you're a therapist, right? You're supposed to know how to do this relationship thing. So a few years into this relationship, which quickly became a bit of a disaster, although it has lived for 37 years, thanks to some of the ideas I'm going to talk to you about, I was desperate. And I came upon a group of ideas that made a lot of sense to me, that began to explain and give hope to the idea that it isn't that if you have conflict, there's something wrong with you. Actually, if you have conflict in your relationship, you're with exactly the right person to help you reclaim the stuff that you lost growing up. And I want to talk a little bit about that process. So I believe when we're born, any of you who have children have, I'm sure, experienced this, we're wide awake and fully alive, and our survival directive says we've got to attach. So we're ready. Here we are, mom and dad, or mom and mom, or dad and dad. Here we are. And it's our parents' job to attune to that energy, to meet us, let us become ourselves, because we can't become ourselves by ourselves. We're a perfect soul print, born into an imperfect body, and we need our parents to help us grow that body so that soul print can express itself. And when it goes well, it's great. And when it goes poorly, we lose connection to that very important and unique soul. And over time, when our parents can't meet us, it causes us pain. And I want to talk, and we begin to gather baggage. That's what my wonderful suitcases are. I'm not actually going to Bermuda. This is my baggage. So the first baggage that we begin to fill as we grow up is one of the most important things parents have to do with kids is help them accomplish developmental tasks so they could grow into life and thrive and be in relationship and feel connected in the world. Now these developmental tasks are attachment, exploration, identity, and competence. Now think about those four, how vital they are for us as adults to be able to do them in order to feel connected in our world. The first one, we have to be attached. And for a baby to feel attached, they need a lot of reliability and warmth. And then they learn life's most important lesson. When in distress, go toward relationship. It's not and when in distress, talk about what you're feeling rather than blame somebody else. That it's somebody else's problem that you're having a hard time. Exploration, so important to be able to be attached, but also to be able to be an individual and explore your world. Identity, I have to be able to find out who I am in order to make it in the world. And competence, not only do I need to know who I am, but I need to be helped to feel like I can make things happen. And when children have the environment that supports those impulses, they are able to do those things. But unfortunately, we had imperfect parents, and many of us did not get that environment we needed to accomplish those developmental tasks. And we're still working on them. And so when we say unmet needs, we mean we didn't have the environment we needed to accomplish the developmental tasks and grow up. So we're a bunch of little kids in big bodies, not really able to attach, not able to explore, not able to have a sense of ourselves, and certainly not feeling empowered in the world. The second suitcase is made up of our lost parts. Well, what does that mean? When we're born, we are ready to express and feel connected. So there are these four functions that we as human beings have that help us connect. We have our feeling, we have our sensing, we have our thinking, and we have our acting. And the more our parents can welcome all those aspects of those four functions, the more we have the experience that relationship is safe, relationship is good, I feel good, and I feel grounded. Now think about it. When relationship is experienced as unsafe, we block out that other person, which is the root of all evil in the world right now. We lose our capacity to be empathic. So when we can't find that connection, we can't really feel what other people feel. So what happened to me when I was a little kid is that I wanted very much to be free and play, right? But I'm the child of Holocaust survivors. My parents made it very clear to me that just being free and having fun was not really on the agenda in my family. The agenda in my family was don't relax, as my father once said to me when we first flew in an airplane, don't relax, the plane will crash. So, give you some idea of my inability to play. And so I wanted to be part of this family, I wanted to belong, so I put my ability to play in this suitcase. It was a lost part. So I wasn't getting my needs met. Parts of me were going missing, and that hurt. When we are not attuned to by children, we develop defensive behaviors, protective behaviors. I think about it as like when you're born, your heart is wide open, and we begin slowly to create a cage around our heart that keeps us from being empathic, keeps us from feeling connected, causes us a lot of stress. But in childhood, these protective behaviors kept us alive. They were the thing that kept us alive in our family and helped us survive to adulthood. So this is a pretty sorry mess, right? I have unmet needs, all these lost parts, and as I grow up, I behave in ways that when I fall in love with someone or after a while, that actually don't enhance connection, even though I think they will. They do the exact opposite. When I do the same thing I did back then, or the complete opposite, I create disconnection rather than connection. So, this is our fourth bag. And this is the antidote. God bless this antidote. This is the ticket to help you reclaim the parts that you've lost, to help you in partnership meet each other's needs that didn't get met and grow up into really being an adult. Now this is nature's very interesting truth. How many of you in this room have had conflict in relationship? Raise your hand. How many of you have gotten very happy and excited when there was conflict? Not too many. No, we think it's, like I said, we think it's terrible, it's scary. We don't know what to do with it. So nature knew that we would never choose the person that we choose if we knew consciously what we were getting into. Nature had to blind us with the chemicals of romantic love to make us think we found the best thing since sliced bread. So what is this antidote? This antidote, this image, is something that at the same time we're collecting this baggage, we're building this image. This is the image of familiar love. It's made up of all the ways our caretakers are with us, all the ways they're with each other. And in the brain, if you know about the brain now, is that image is stuck in our brain. And it is what we label as love, no matter how lousy it is. It's what's familiar. It makes us feel like we're coming home. So what happens, nature blinds us and puts us in relationship. Now listen to this really bad news. Puts us in relationship with someone who will have some of the positive and some of the negative characteristics of our early caretakers. Now when we fall in love, we have no idea. Just put an adult child of an alcoholic in a room with 249 sober people and one alcoholic. And it's like radar. Because they feel like, oh, you're familiar, I know you, I've known you, I feel like I've known you my whole life. I'm sure you've heard that before. Well, what's really, it may sound awful, but really there's a very important purpose. We need to be with someone, and they need to be with us, so we can recreate the conflict of our childhood, the environment of that childhood, so that we can face those things that we couldn't face as children. We had to close our hearts because we were little kids. But now, with the right tools and the right information, we can face those challenges to a different outcome. In partnership and as grown-ups, we can come together and find our true selves. We can get those needs met that didn't get met in childhood. We can reclaim our lost parts, and we can learn to live in the world with an open heart. So how does this work? We walk across the crowded room, we make that connection, and of course, as I said, nature gives us all these chemicals to help us. If they blind us, consciously we think, oh, she's so smart, she's so pretty, I like the way she moves, she's so sexy. Unconsciously, I'm saying, Mom, Dad, I'm home! But we have no idea. And what happens when we begin to drop that defensive cage because we feel so good and close to this person, these wonderful chemicals, the greatest endorphins known to human beings, begin to flood our body. And we think that person's giving it to us. We have no idea. We've known them for 15 minutes, for God's sake. What's really happened is that we have dropped the cage around our hearts. What we're in love with is the feeling of aliveness when we open our hearts. That's what we're in love with. So let's see how this works. So think of the imago, this inner image, as a car. This is your car that will get you on the roadway to help you grow into who you've always been meant to be, but have lost your way. We think mistakenly that our partner is supposed to meet our needs, but actually, they're supposed to shine a beacon on the places where we are incomplete. So, we get into this roadway and we fall in love, just like I talked about. And we think it's going to last forever. But unfortunately, our body begins to develop a tolerance for those chemicals. And over time, those chemicals don't make us feel so high anymore. And our bodies don't know enough to give us more. So pretty soon we're not feeling so great with each other. And we think just like that person made us feel good, now they're making us feel bad. They took all those feelings away from me. So we end up right here in this power struggle. And it's here that the conflicts show up. When I say gold in the conflict, that's what I'm talking about. Now, we have no idea why we fall in love, and we don't know why we go from heaven to hell. They say anytime between 2 hours and 18 months. Some people are luckier than others, okay? But we want to avoid this power struggle. That's the mistake. It's in this power struggle that the gold exists for us to become who we need to be. Now, why is that important? For God's sake, the world needs us as fully functioning adults to give to the world. We don't need to be caught up in this power struggle where we are just, all of our energy is sapped. We need to work together in partnership. We need to make the decision that there's something happening here that we need to understand. We got to get on the same team. And when we get on the same team, we can make a commitment to be curious, to be caring, to be aware of our impact on one another. It's like we have to face the same direction and look at this relational pattern that doesn't work. Because neither person is the enemy, it's the pattern that's the problem. When we do that, when we make this commitment, we can begin to talk and listen in different ways with curiosity, like, oh, that's why you do what you do. And then we begin to wake up to the magic of the relationship. We begin to see how our partner's upsets with us invite us into becoming more of who we were always meant to be, rather than resisting and defending. And that throws us up here into a place of mature love. What does that mean? That means we are two strong individuals in connection with each other. It's not an either or. We both can exist in connection. And that feels wonderful. And we have each other's backs. And we support each other, even when somebody wants something very different than you do. Well, what happens is that throws us back into romantic love. We have a taste again of that deliciousness. But of course, as human beings, we're imperfect. We get thrown back into a piece of the power struggle. Conflict comes back up, but now we begin to be curious. We don't love the conflict, but we say, well, maybe I can take a chance. Maybe we can get back into that committed place. Let's talk and listen. Let's wake up. Let's come back to this mature love. And it's like a spiral staircase. We've been together for 37 years, Barbara and I. She's right here. I have to tell you, we are not a perfect relationship. I would be lying to you. The only difference between us and most people who haven't had these ideas is when we have conflict, instead of it being catastrophic, we get busy and we get working and we get listening and we open our hearts. Thank you very much.